I mean, it's got. I was really excited when I first heard about it. When I talked to Kevin before the show started, and he said that there's gonna be a Sector and Cyrax episode. I'm like, really? Because that's awesome. And then it was even more intriguing when you find out that they're like people before they're robots. So I mean, can you talk about like your first reaction to the script and like what you knew about the character before kind of signing on to this?
Well, my reaction to the script was I was elated. I mean, that's a good word because I knew that from doing the research on Cyrax that his character developed, I don't want to say exponentially, but from just being a robot cyborg that was kind of a gimmick thing to he has this cold growth from being he's a very great character. So from being kind of a bad guy that has some issues to kind of like, oh, well, he's not as bad as you make him out to be. Having a little bit of that in the script was definitely a plus for me because I figured, oh, well, great, now as an actor I get to kind of play the different levels of gray between versus just being just the ninja who's very serious and very one-level.
So can you talk about like your background in fighting and martial arts in general and like how like when you kind of started, I guess?
My background started in dance since I was a musical theater kid, and then eventually just I was always interested in martial arts and kung fu movies and whatnot. My favorite movie is Five Deadly Venoms, I believe. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
that's a good one.
It was just it got me hooked on it. So I started doing kung fu when I was in high school.
Okay.
And I kind of kept going with it, and then did a little bit through college, when then shifted back over to dance. I came out to LA and realized that the dancers here are fantastic, and I need some other edge that I need. But I've always liked being very physical and different, challenging myself in my workouts. So I started doing martial arts again at XMA, and then I started training over at White Lotus in Northridge, doing tricking, and that's kind of kept my workouts intense, and that's kind of what helped me because I've been doing it for 3 or 4 years now, kicking with guys like Matt Owens and Mike became known. So.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the shorts, the original Rebirth short, and then when I found out it was Kevin, I'm like, it was kind of surprising. I'm like, hey, he's the Fame guy, isn't he? And it seems like more and more now that like those two worlds, like dance and this, kind of really go hand in hand. Almost.
Absolutely, I feel like people can relate to movement in general. It's funny. I realized that half the YouTube channels that I subscribe to or watch on a regular basis, it's only like 4 or 5 of them, but they all have to do with dance and movement and studying the body. So I feel like people understand like that, whether or not it's choreography of whether it's strikes or whether it's just a unique way of studying people's bodies. I think that's what really appeals to people.
Okay, so can you talk about like just the look, I guess, of your robots in the episode, and like how much of like I know everyone's got the signature moves. I remember it's like they have a few of those. So how much of that do we get into the episode?
Oh man, the signature look of the robots. I say they look pretty much like their MK9 iterations, more so than their MK3 versions.
Okay.
The MK3 versions were guys that look like guys in suits. These ones are more teched up. Has a lot more detail to it. There's still got the dreads, even though I am bald. And signature moves. We had some really cool stuff. Unfortunately, some things happened where, maybe budget-wise, I don't know, don't quote me on that, that were, let's just say there are some fatalities in it, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't remember which one it was, but I remember one of them, they went down, they sunk in and then came back up.
That's Sector.
Was that Sector?
Yeah,
yeah.
Sector.
I can't remember which one it was.
It's kind of a digital, like, his teleportation's kind of a digital feel to it. Cyrax's teleportation is more of an explode out and kind of come back together.
Okay. So like, because I know like this whole first season kind of set up just the tournament in general.
Yes.
So like, I mean, have you been talking with Kevin about when season 2 might start, and if is it getting into the tournament right away? Like in season 2?
What I want to share with Kevin is that I feel like he wants to hold off on the tournament as much as possible.
Okay.
And not for any kind of PR kind of hype situation. I think ultimately what people I feel are going to look forward to in Mortal Kombat is the tournament. But we've seen that. We've seen that done in almost every fight tournament movie. That like it jumps to the tournament, and we don't know why. With fighting games especially, there's a myriad of characters that have really rich backstories. Yeah. And if we jump to the tournament fresh off the bat, like, oh, that's what Sector or Cyrax. Well, they look really cool, but we don't know why. We don't care why they're fighting. So I feel like if we, I know Kevin's opinion on this is almost the same, that we kind of we want to build up to the tournament, maybe have the last one be the tournament, but there's still a lot of other characters that I know he wants to explore, so if we do a second season, knock on wood, that it'll be less about the tournament, more about the specific characters, and maybe their motivations for getting into a future tournament.
Okay. So just what would you like to just say to the fans out there about who've been supporting the show about why they should tune in the finale when it finally hits?
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you guys for tuning in on a regular basis and being supportive. You guys should check in at the season finale because it's got robot cyborgs who murder each other, and you get to see some really cool cutscenes. So when I say cutscenes, I mean cutting scenes with surgery. So if that's what I think you're into, then yeah, it's kick-ass martial arts.